Listen to me carefully. There are moments in life when you feel like the weight of the entire world is pressing down on your chest. Moments when you wake up and ask yourself, why should I even keep going? You feel broken, exhausted, maybe even invisible. But let me tell you something right now. Your pain is not the end of your story. Your struggle is not a punishment, it's preparation. Every tear, every setback, every failure you've faced is shaping you into someone far stronger than you can even imagine. Life doesn't stop because you're tired. Success doesn't knock on the door of the weak. Victory doesn't wait for those who quit halfway. The truth is, the world doesn't care about your excuses, it only respects your results. And results only come to those who refuse to quit. You are more powerful than you think. Deep inside, there is a fire that refuses to die, no matter how many storms try to put it out. And today, I'm here to tell you this: don't you dare give up now. The version of you that you're meant to become is waiting on the other side of your persistence. Pain is temporary, quitting is forever. You have to let that sink deep into your mind. The problem with most people is that the moment life gets uncomfortable, the moment they feel pain, they immediately start searching for a way out. They start thinking that maybe the struggle isn't worth it, maybe the challenge is too much, maybe the dream is too far. That's weakness speaking. That's your emotions trying to hijack your destiny. Pain will come. Pain is a part of life, but it never lasts. Nothing you're going through right now is permanent. Think back to every tough moment you've ever survived. At the time you thought it would break you, you thought you couldn't handle it, and yet here you are, still standing, still breathing. The pain faded, the pressure eased, the wounds healed. But if you had quit in that moment, you would have locked yourself in a prison of regret that never fades away. Pain is like a storm. It rages, it tears things apart, it makes you believe the sky will never clear. But eventually, the clouds move, the rain stops, the sun returns. Quitting is not like that. Quitting is permanent darkness. It's the moment you decide that the fight is too hard, that you are not strong enough. And the tragedy is that you never discover who you could have become. Pain doesn't define you, but quitting does. Pain tests your strength, but quitting erases your potential. Every time you walk away, every time you choose the easy exit, you're carving into your soul the identity of someone who didn't finish what they started. That identity sticks. Winners are not the people who never feel pain. Winners are the people who see pain as the signal to push harder. Pain is your body, your mind, your soul saying, this is where the growth is. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't matter. If it didn't burn, it wouldn't build. A muscle doesn't grow without being torn down first. A warrior doesn't sharpen his blade without grinding it against stone. You cannot level up without discomfort. That pain you feel when you're chasing your goals is the exact proof that you're on the right path. The people who never feel pain are the people who never tried for anything greater than average. And average is where dreams go to die. The truth is, every second you push through pain, you are building a version of yourself that is unstoppable. Every rep in the gym when your body screams to stop. Every late night working when your mind begs for rest. Every early morning when you fight against the comfort of sleep. That's you proving to yourself that pain is temporary. And when you see the results, when you look back months or years from now and realize how far you've come, you'll laugh at the idea that you almost gave up. But if you quit, you'll carry the question for the rest of your life. What if I had kept going? That question is heavier than any pain you'll ever feel. Do not confuse pain with failure. Failure only comes when you quit. Pain is just the toll you must pay to cross the bridge to greatness. Everyone pays it, but when you live them for God, until they every the EVERY other MOMENT side. Pain sharpens you, quitting dulls you forever. Discipline will always beat motivation. Motivation is like a spark. It comes fast, it burns bright, but it fades just as quickly. You wake up some mornings and you feel unstoppable, like nothing can stand in your way. On those days, motivation is enough to get you moving. But what about the mornings when you feel empty, when you feel heavy, when your mind tells you to stay in bed, to skip the work, to take it easy? That's where motivation disappears. And if you rely on it, you'll never go further than your moods. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care about feelings. Discipline doesn't wait for you to be in the mood. Discipline is doing what needs to be done whether you want to or not. And that's why discipline wins every single time. Think about it. Anyone can act when they feel excited. Anyone can chase their dream when they're fired up and full of energy. But how many can show up on the days when they feel drained? How many can put in the reps when no one is watching, when there's no applause, no reward, just hard work? That's where discipline separates the average from the elite. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps you consistent long enough to see results. It's not glamorous, it's not flashy, but it's unstoppable. Motivation screams in the beginning, discipline whispers every day, and the whispers outlast the screams. Every successful person you look up to wasn't carried there by constant motivation. They were carried by discipline. They built habits, routines, and standards that they refused to break no matter how they felt. They didn't always feel like training. They didn't always feel like grinding. They didn't always feel like sacrificing. But they did it anyway because they understood something most people don't. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. If you only move when you feel like moving, you'll live a life of inconsistency, and inconsistency kills dreams. Discipline is freedom in disguise. Most people think discipline is a prison, that it takes away your choices, that it makes life rigid. The truth is, discipline gives you freedom, freedom from regret, freedom from wasted potential, freedom from living a life below your capabilities. When you are disciplined, you control yourself. You are no longer a slave to your emotions or your moods. You no longer wait for the perfect moment because you create the moment. Discipline is the ability to command yourself to act even when every part of you wants to stop. The reason discipline beats motivation is because discipline creates momentum. One disciplined choice leads to another. You wake up early one day, you do it again the next, and soon it becomes your new normal. You work on your goals for an hour today, then tomorrow, and eventually it becomes part of who you are. Discipline rewires your identity. It turns actions into habits, habits into routines, and routines into results. Motivation can't do that because it's unstable. It's an emotional wave, but discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady in the storm. You don't build greatness on feelings. You build greatness on commitment. You build it on the daily decision to keep going, no matter what. Discipline is the weapon that turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. It doesn't ask for excitement. It doesn't ask for passion. It only asks for consistency. And if you can give it that, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Your excuses don't build your future, your actions do. Excuses are the lies we tell ourselves to feel comfortable staying the same. They sound convincing, they sound logical, but deep down you know they are just shields protecting you from effort, discomfort, and risk. Every time you say, "I don't have time," what you're really saying is, "It's not my priority." Every time you say, "I'm too tired," what you're really saying is, "I'd rather settle." Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," what you're really saying is, "I don't have the courage to start today." Excuses may ease your mind in the moment, but they destroy your future because they rob you of action. Action is the only thing that creates results, and without results you are left with nothing but regret. Look at the most successful people in the world. Do you think they didn't have excuses? Do you think they didn't face obstacles, setbacks, and distractions? They had every reason to quit, every reason to slow down, but they chose action instead of excuses. That's the difference. Everyone has struggles, everyone has disadvantages, but not everyone chooses to act in spite of them. The people who do are the ones who separate themselves from the crowd. Excuses keep you average, actions make you exceptional. An excuse feels like protection, but in reality it's poison. It convinces you that staying still is safer than moving forward. It whispers to you that Waiting is smarter than trying, but every time you let an excuse control you, you're making your future smaller. Think about it. One excuse not to go to the gym leads to a week off, then a month, and suddenly you've given up. One excuse not to work on your goals leads to days wasted, opportunities missed, and dreams fading away. Excuses don't just slow you down, they completely derail you. Action, on the other hand, builds momentum. The moment you decide to take even a small step, you start breaking the chains of hesitation. One action leads to another, and before you know it, you've built progress. Progress fuels confidence, confidence fuels consistency, and consistency fuels results. This is how futures are built, one action at a time, not one excuse at a time. Nobody ever looked back at their life proud of all the excuses they made, but they do look back proud of the moments they acted when it was hard, when it was inconvenient, when it didn't make sense, but they did it anyway. You will never be short of excuses. Life will always hand them to you. There will always be reasons not to try, not to push, not to risk, but you have to ask yourself, do I want comfort now or greatness later? Excuses give you comfort now but pain later. Actions give you pain now but greatness later. That's the trade. Excuses might protect your ego for a moment, but they will destroy your confidence in the long run. Action might hurt your pride in the moment, but it builds strength, character, and success that lasts a lifetime. Your future is being written every single day, and every day you are either writing it with excuses or with actions. When you hesitate, when you let fear control you, when you allow comfort to dictate your choices, you're handing your future away. But when you act, when you choose effort over excuses, you're building something powerful, something real. Pressure creates diamonds. Embrace the struggle. Every great transformation in life comes from a season of intense pressure. Look at nature itself. The diamond, one of the hardest and most valuable substances on Earth, is formed under conditions of extreme heat and pressure. Without that intensity, it would remain just a lump of carbon, ordinary and overlooked. The same is true for you. Without pressure, without challenges, without being tested, you remain ordinary. It's only when life pushes you to your limits, when everything feels heavy, when the world feels like it's against you, that you have the chance to transform into something extraordinary. Pressure exposes who you really are. When things are easy, everyone looks confident, everyone looks strong, everyone looks capable. But when the weight of the world presses down, when everything feels like it's falling apart, that's when your true character is revealed. Do you break or do you hold firm? Do you run or do you rise? The struggle is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to reveal the greatness buried inside you. Every time you endure pressure, you're carving away weakness, excuses, and fear. What's left is sharper, tougher, stronger. The problem is most people run from pressure. They avoid struggle, they avoid discomfort, they avoid difficulty because it feels overwhelming. But what they don't understand is that by avoiding the struggle, they're avoiding their own potential. Growth only happens in discomfort. You don't get stronger by lifting weights that feel easy. You don't become mentally tough by coasting through days that never test you. You don't unlock new levels of yourself by staying safe. You become unbreakable by facing pressure head on and refusing to back down. Every obstacle in your life, every setback, every painful season is pressure shaping you into something more. The failures that embarrass you, the disappointments that sting, the long nights where no one sees your effort, all of it is molding you. Diamonds are not created overnight, and neither is greatness. It takes time, it takes endurance, and most of all, it takes the ability to stand tall when everything inside you wants to collapse. That is where the breakthrough lies. Pressure also teaches you to adapt. It forces you to think differently, to move differently, to level up. When life squeezes you, you're forced to find solutions you never would have considered if everything was smooth. Pressure sharpens creativity, builds resilience, and hardens your willpower. What once seemed impossible starts to feel achievable because you've been through worse. You've carried heavier, you've survived storms before. Every new challenge is proof that you're capable of handling more. People often think success means a life without struggle. The truth is success is built on struggle. The very pressure you want to escape is the exact force that is preparing you for the success you say you want. The more pressure you survive, the more unstoppable you become. You stop fearing problems, you stop fearing setbacks, because you understand that every single one is an opportunity to become stronger, sharper, and harder to break. Pressure is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally in the journey to becoming your best self. You don't need permission to take control of your life. Too many people spend their entire existence waiting for the right time, waiting for approval, waiting for someone to tell them it's okay to chase what they want. They live trapped in hesitation, convincing themselves that one day everything will line up perfectly, and that will be the moment to start. But life doesn't work that way. The perfect time doesn't exist, and nobody is going to come save you or hand you your dreams. You don't need permission from society, from your friends, from your family, or from anyone else to step into your power. The only permission you need is the one you give yourself. Think about how much time is wasted because people are afraid of judgment. They don't pursue their goals because they're scared of what others will say. They hide their talents because they fear rejection. They live small because they believe they need to be validated first. But the truth is, the people you're worried about are too busy dealing with their own lives to be your gatekeepers. Nobody is sitting there with a stamp of approval waiting. Validate your path. If you want it, you have to take it. If you want change, you have to create it. Waiting for permission is the same as waiting for your life to pass you by. Taking control means understanding that everything you want is on you. Your happiness, your success, your growth, your future, it's all in your hands. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, stop blaming other people, stop blaming your past, you unlock your real power. You can't control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. You can control your work ethic, your focus, your choices. That's where freedom comes from. That's how you shift from being a passenger in life to being the driver. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they never start. They sit around waiting for someone to say now is the time or you're ready. But here's the truth. You'll never feel completely ready. There will always be doubts, always be fears, always be reasons to hold back. If you wait until you're comfortable, you'll wait forever. Control is about moving anyway. It's about stepping forward even when the fear is loud, even when you don't know all the answers, even when the path isn't clear. That decision alone separates the ones who live with regret from the ones who live with pride. Taking control also means setting your own standards. Stop letting society tell you what's enough. Stop letting others decide what success should look like for you. If you want more, demand more. If you want different, go after it unapologetically. People will call you crazy. They'll doubt you, they'll question your choices, but remember, they're speaking from their limits, not yours. You don't need them to see your vision. You only need to see it yourself once you do. Nothing, they say, matters. The world respects action. Nobody celebrates the person who had potential but never acted. They celebrate the ones who stepped into the arena and fought for what they wanted. When you take control, when you move with conviction, people eventually stop questioning you and start respecting you. But that respect doesn't come first. You have to claim it through action. And action starts the moment you stop asking for permission. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Life has a way of knocking you down when you least expect it. You can have the perfect plan, perfect strategy, the perfect vision, and still watch it collapse in front of you. You can give everything you have and still fall short. That's reality. Setbacks are inevitable. But what most people never understand is that setbacks are not the end. They are the foundation for the next rise. Every failure, every loss, every disappointment carries within it the seed of a greater return, but only if you refuse to let it break you. When you face a setback, you have two choices. You can accept it as defeat, or you can use it as fuel. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck isn't that the successful never fail, it's that they see failure differently. They don't see it as permanent. They don't see it as defining. They see it as feedback, as a lesson, as training. Every setback is showing you something about your strategy, about your habits, about your mindset. It's giving you information that you can use to come back stronger, sharper, smarter. If you quit after the fall, you never unlock that knowledge. But if you rise again, you carry that lesson into the next battle, and that makes you dangerous. History is full of comebacks, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, fighters, people who were counted out, written off, dismissed, and doubted, only to return and dominate. Their success stories weren't built in the moments of victory, but in the moments of defeat where they refused to stay down. Every great champion has scars. Every great achiever has setbacks. What makes them different is they turned those scars into strength. They understood that the greater the setback, the greater the stage for the comeback. Setbacks also build resilience. If everything went your way, if life handed you success without resistance, you'd never develop the toughness required to sustain it. Setbacks harden you, they strip away weakness, they force you to develop grit. When you've been at rock bottom and you've climbed back up, you become unstoppable. You stop fearing failure because you've already faced it and survived. That gives you an edge over everyone else who crumbles the first time things don't go their way. A comeback isn't just about proving others wrong, it's about proving yourself right. It's about reminding yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances, that you can take the punch and keep moving forward. Every time you rise from a setback, you build undeniable confidence in yourself. You know that no matter what comes, you will find a way. That kind of self-belief is rare, and it only comes from falling and rising again and again. The truth is, setbacks are setups because they position you for growth you wouldn't have experienced otherwise. They push you into discomfort. They demand that you evolve. They force you to adapt. Without setbacks, there's no reason to change, no reason to innovate, no reason to become better. But with them, you are constantly being shaped into a more powerful version of yourself. The comeback is always greater than the setback because it's built on wisdom, on strength, on resilience, and on the refusal to quit.